Welcome back, Floater Gang. Today we're doing a mock draft, but we've each been given a select amount of teams to play the role of GM for. So this isn't exactly a mock draft as in predicting who will be drafted to win, but more as when do we think when they will be picked. And of course, afterwards, drop your comments on who played the best GM for their team. But we're gonna get started right with it. We have 30 seconds per pick to keep this ball rolling. The first pick will be the Atlanta Hawks. I am playing GM for the Atlanta Hawks for this mock draft of the first round. And this one could be interesting. I think it's between two Frenchies, just like last year was just one, I guess. Alex Sarr and Risa Shea, if I'm pronouncing that right at all. Yeah. I'm just gonna go Alex Sarr. The ceiling is just that much higher. I do like both are a good fit for the Hawks. I do like Alex Sarr better. If you can get, you're probably gonna lose Capella, maybe trading him this season or trading him next. And I like putting Sarr in there sooner or later. And he just has an insanely high ceiling. I think he might be the number one overall pick regardless. And I think it just works out perfectly that he's not a guard.
Yeah. I mean, I think the thing that the Hawks have struggled to have is an elite defense, with or without Trae Young, really. Um, and Sarr has the capabilities to be an elite anchor. Not to mention he's shown flashes offensively. His jumper, it's there, but it's not quite as efficient as you want it to be. But hopefully he could get there. So I'd like to pick.
Absolutely. So yeah, I mean, sorry, everybody's great. He's got everything. He's got all the potential in the world. We'll have to see how that pans out. And that defense is a great start. Number two, we got the Washington Wizards on the clock.
Uh, that's me. Um, Jeez, I wish I didn't get the Wizards, honestly. I don't really know what to do with them.
You're gonna get fired.
I I'm fine getting fired from the Wizards, to be honest.
I mean, I think the Wizards don't even know what they're doing.
I don't think so either. But I think honestly, I'm gonna go with Reed Shepard just because he can kind of do everything. I think it's not a bad guy to just kind of have, especially not knowing what you're really doing. Like I said, he can kind of do everything. He can play make, he can definitely shoot. And he's not necessarily a liability on defense or anything else. So I would take Reed Shepard at that second pick if I was the Wizards.
42-inch vertical.
Me personally, I think it's actually a horrible pick for them. They have so many guards.
Yeah, but they're not good.
Exactly.
I understand, but they need a big.
Well,
They
need everything.
Exactly. Here's what I say. They need every.
If you're gonna say they should pick
They
Donovan
need
Clingan,
a big.
who do you think?
Also, they need a defender because they allowed the most opponent points per game. So if you
Well,
want to
because they're
draft
also like the
Clingan,
worst team.
I don't think it's bad. But how is it bad to draft Risa Shea? Like, how is that bad? Well, Jordan. Oh, he's gonna eat up Jordan Poole's minutes.
It's a Reed Shepard.
Oh, Reed Shepard. Well, like, what's the guy? He's a shooter. Like, whose minutes? Is he
I
eating up?
understand, but who is their big right
Explain.
now?
Okay.
Nobody. I'm just saying
Marvin
they don't have
Bagley.
anybody.
Yeah.
We're saying that, but who's their guard? Why would that be a bad pick? We're saying they don't have anybody.
Kispert, who's been doing a
He's shooting our small
We're
forward.
also so far away from
Jordan
I don't
Poole
think-
plays.
they
If
don't
Jordan
have
Poole
to
plays
fill
point guard because they lose Tyus Jones, what are they losing? Getting Reed
Eli
Shepard.
Coulibaly.
He's not a
Johnny
guard.
Davis is on the upcome.
They can also, but they can all play forward.
Everybody's
They all
on the
play
upcome
forward.
on their
And they're all-
team, so you're not
they're
gonna.
all so raw. There's not one guy where you're like Cade Cunningham in the Pistons. But okay, we have our point guard. Every single person on that roster now is ass and could be traded.
I mean, at this point, you just can't
Or
draft
cut.
for fit. You have to draft for
You're,
Exactly.
It comes to the draft.
And I think
who
Reed
is
Shepard has one of the higher floors just coming straight into the
and the
NBA.
Wizards just need good players, man.
Exactly. And I think he's exactly that.
I like him because yeah, Marvin, like you said, high floor, great. To Vonnie's point, I do think Clingan would actually be just good to anchor a defense, to have another guy, high floor. I think Risa Shea would be interesting. Lower floor, probably higher ceiling than maybe both those guys. So he could be interesting, but I think to Valney's point, at least fit-wise, that would be a little bit more difficult because he does line up a lot more position-wise than the guys.
With guys they have.
But I don't think the Wizards should be considered. If they're high on Ricochet, I think that's a pick they should make.
All right, got the Rockets next. And I could go two directions here. I mean, I think the best available here's still Ricochet, but they have a lot of wings that I think they really like. Um, and that interior defense could improve. It's just tricky. 'Cause, I mean, I'm not like the biggest Şengün guy, but also he is really good. So I don't want to pick a backup here. So
Got 5 seconds.
I think I'm going with Ricochet. Shooter can
For sure.
space the floor. I don't think Dylan Brooks will be there forever. I mean, I don't even know if the guarantee he's on the team next year if they're going to make a big swing. But great defender, great shooter. Put the ball on the floor and attack closeouts. Awesome in transition. He's just the perfect role player. I mean, and he could be more than that. I think he has the ceiling to be. But I think if you're picking at 3 and you're the Rockets and you already have most of your core, I think he's the perfect complement.
Yeah, honestly, he's dream case scenario for the Rockets a little bit at 3. I think so. And Shepard would be great pick too.
I mean, I can't complain about that pick. I don't think that's anything to pout about.
I feel like they need shooting and IQ.
Yeah.
And then on another note, they could dream case scenario would be a 3 and D big,
Right.
which doesn't really exist. Maybe in SAR, but he's not likely to fall there. So I think it's great.
Yeah.
All right.
And
That brings the Spurs.
That's also you at the 4th pick. Don't mess this up.
Yeah, I got a lot of pressure on this one. I think I'm gonna play it safe. And just take Rob Dillingham.
There you
I
go.
think he's the best offensive engine left.
I would kiss you if you're my GM.
Okay.
And a female.
No.
No.
Well, he's just the best offensive engine left. And I think a lot of people underestimate.
Friends of the pod think I'm gay.
Rob Dillingham is a friend of the pod.
Yeah, he also thinks she's gay.
Kiss you, Rob.
We'll see you next week. But he's just a bucket getter, and I think people undervalue just how efficiently he does it. He shot 44% from 3. Like that's amazing,
With I think he had those.
Especially for a point guard.
Yeah.
Shoots quite a bit and tough threes.
He had a pretty high assist rate too.
Yeah, I mean, I think Kemba Walker's my favorite comparison for him. He's shifty. He can get in the paint. His defense is going to be interesting. But who better to back up your defensive trouble guard than Victor Wembanyama? So
Amen to that.
No
Yeah,
complaint.
arguably my favorite prospect in the entire draft. Let's move on to number 5, Detroit. Detroit basketball.
That is me. I've been looking through the list for a little while, and I think the best pick for them, maybe surprising, Nikola Topic.
okay.
Topic.
They need playmaking, especially at the guard position. They are stacked on big position if you think about it. They just got. I was gonna mix up Azar or Men Thompson.
Azar, they got Azar.
Azar Thompson, which I think was a great pick to put him at the small forward.
I think they need to.
Cade Cunningham is the most injury-prone player there is. Barely plays.
They have.
There is this man in LaMelo. Anyway,
Okay.
continue.
Top 3 injury-prone players. They need
Don't
a
forget
guard.
about Kawhi.
Cade Cunningham doesn't play make very much. Neither does Marcus Sasser. They're both mainly scorers that look to score, and I think if they get a playmaker like Nikola, there'd be a lot better situation.
So first off, I want to disagree with Cade. He's a playmaker.
That is something
And
he does.
second, I think the Pistons should go more for fit, unlike the Wizards. And by that, I mean they kind of have their guards and they kind of have their bigs. Like you said, they need to get wings.
He got 8 most assists in the league last week.
I don't know if he necessarily like. So I don't hate the idea of putting another playmaker in that Pistons roster because Cade is the only one that you can consider like a playmaker.
That's fair.
And I don't know how high they are in Jaden Ivey. I mean, I know Monty Williams isn't very high in Jaden Ivey.
Well, he might get fired too. So.
Yeah, I mean, see if the GM.
Which I mean, I'm not saying it'd be a bad move, but that just would make last year's move even worse.
I mean, the owner's gonna be paying him lots of money. So I don't even know if he will do it. But I don't hate the idea. I mean, the Pistons have so little shooting. and Topic is going to
Exactly. Well, that's why I think they need to get a shooting wing if they can.
I mean, but
You
is
have the
there-
same problem as the Jaden Ivey problem with
Yeah.
Kate Cunningham.
Is there a shooting wing that they like? I mean, Montas Buzelis is like theoretical shooting. Like he had good shooting years. And
Yeah.
then G League was bad.
I mean,
I mean,
I
if
think-
Shepard's out, I think they should 100% go Shepard.
Shepard and Arissa Shea are, I think, their dream.
Well, that's why I think
Scenario
they're
guys.
a trade up.
Trade
type
up
of team.
is
Go get Reece Shea to go get Reece Shepard.
for the purpose of this mock draft. I didn't have that choice, so we'll
Yeah.
give them credit there. But yeah, I mean, they're bottom 5 last season in opponent points per game and in points per game, so they just need help on both ends. The one thing they have, at least in one player, is playmaking, to discredit Valentine's point. But to also agree with Valentine's point, overall, the team, yeah, they suck at that. I think the only reason why you take Topic is if you're really high on him. And there's a lot of people that aren't. I think that's fine. I don't think you take him at all because of fit, but if you think like he's the next, like he's the guy on the board, take him. I like personally, out of the people that be available right now, Connect.
Yeah.
Just a completely just amazing. He's gonna translate score. Cade can feed him. Now you can finally space the floor a little better.
It's just how much does Cade play is the thing. He rarely plays.
He played like.
He played like 60 plus.
What are
I
you
also
talking
think,
about? He played 62 games. I
like,
mean,
if
yeah,
you're-
it's a lot, no, but
If you're the Pistons, you also have to decide: do we want upside here, or do we want
Exactly.
instant talent? And I mean, you can't go wrong because you just need good. Like they're kind of like the Wizards; they just need good players.
I agree, but I do think they are more set than the Wizards. And like I said, they kind of have their bigs, they kind of have their guards. But for sure, I mean, they're a bad team, so you can't necessarily.
You can't.
And it's not like they have a Wemby kind of guy on their team.
I think they only have a center and a point guard that they for sure want to move forward with.
Yeah.
And also another guy, so if you're going for prospect, which I like that idea, and that still answers the defensive part and the scoring part, not as much necessarily the three-point part, but certainly has potential, is Buzelis, Matas Buzelis. I think could be an amazing pickup. And to lead us into the next pick, the Charlotte Hornets, who I would take Buzelis with the people available. I think their needs in a perfect world would be an explosive 3-and-D with light playmaking capability. The reason I say the reason explosive 3-and-D, okay, that's not Stephon Castle. I think a dream world, right? Yeah. It would be you get a pretty lengthable guy. Like Reece Shea would be awesome. Like you can have a guy with LaMelo, sizable point guard. Then you also have Brandon Miller and Arissa Shea, kind of guys, like lengthy, long squad.
Maybe Miles Bridges.
Maybe Miles Bridges, yeah. Lengthy, long squad, shoot the 3-ball, and also like lob and cutting threats for LaMelo. I think it's a dream. So Buzelis doesn't bring that explosive part, but he can score on all ends. Like I think that would be just a tough, 2 lengthy guys that he can develop properly. Along Brandon Miller, to have those 2 guys that are lengthy and LaMelo, of course, if they're all healthy. And he does also bring some playmaking upside. If LaMelo's hurt, him and Brandon Miller can at least kind of keep that part alive with whoever that backup point guard would be. So I like Buzelis.
I think they could also be a slinging team. I don't know. Like Mark Williams is also very injury prone.
That's true.
I mean, and I like Mark Williams when he plays. But,
Oh yeah, he's great.
I don't know how much you can rely on him.
Yeah, and I like Richards, but I mean, obviously, if Williams is hurt, Richards plays starter, but I feel like Richards is just a better
Yeah,
backup.
he's just a good back.
Yeah,
And
so
good
if you can
defense.
do that.
I like it.
But I like Buzelis.
Yeah.
Alright, so number 7, Portland Trailblazers.
And that's me again. I was actually looking through 2 players a lot. I've come down to 1. Could have been pick 5 for the Pistons. Dalton Connect.
Okay.
They need that forward kind of position. They have Matisse Thybulle.
And Jeremy Grant.
He plays power forward.
Forward.
Yeah, but-
Fair.
And I don't even know.
Connect
if the
is
game-
looking to play small forward,
Okay.
right? And Matisse Thybulle, he's a great defensive player. Offensively, he doesn't really bring anything to the team. Dalton Connect will definitely do that. He looks to score, and he's also an amazing shooter. So I think he's the best guy that's out there for them at this moment.
If you're trying to build a team around Scoot Henderson, I think Connect is a really good pick. I mean, shoots the lights out the ball. I mean, he can really create his own offense as well. I think he's a solid defender. I mean, he's gonna.
Oh yeah.
He won't have to take on the load he had to at Tennessee offensively, so I think he'll be more committed defensively. And I like the Bojan Bogdanovic pick or comparison for him.
Okay.
Uh,
I was like, huh? Sir?
I think he could pass. He could score. Shoot the lights out the ball. So
For sure. And fun fact, just some stats. So Portland last season, they were second to last in opponent points per game, so defense needs some improvements. And they were last in 3-point percentage. So they're obvious need in the game. We know they have a lot of young guys with potential. They have Simons already. They have Shaden Sharp. They have Scoot Henderson. And Aiton even as well, and Robert Williams, but those guys are both a lot more questioned in their future. But a 3-and-D guy, I think, would be their fit, what they need. At this point, what I would do, knowing I have a 14th pick, as the Trailblazers as well, I would get Klingon, arguably the best player available on the board, anchor that defense, which sucks, and then I would get a 3-point shooter or a 3-and-D guy with my 14th pick, which they should have that available. I agree with that take, and that's why I would hold it back on that too, maybe.
They're both pretty young bigs.
if you take Klingon, you gotta trade 8.
Yeah.
And I
I
think
mean, Robert Williams is always hurt.
Yeah,
Which is definitely a big issue.
Yeah.
I think
But
I
they
like.
have Moses Brown, guys.
Yeah.
I like myself some Moses Brown.
Well, okay. Well, I don't know if that will factor in who they take 7th overall.
I mean, it would for me.
Yeah, I get that.
I can tell.
Yeah. So I mean, and DeAndre Ayton had like a solid second half of the year. I mean, really good second half of the year. I don't know how much you
Yeah.
believe in that. And maybe you're like, oh, you're trying to sell that as his trade value or
That's
whatever.
true. You could, yeah.
But I mean, if you're the Blazers, I think you could go anywhere but point guard.
Yeah, I agree. I was about to say, I definitely don't hate the pick,
I
though.
don't even know if Simons is like a for sure guy to be on the team just because of his fit with Scoot. It's kind of weird.
Could be a good trade asset.
Yeah.
I hear you.
Orlando Magic.
Orlando
Just
Magic.
that's interesting.
No. I love them.
Magic.
All right. Here we are. 8th
Spurs.
overall pick. Here.
Their second first round pick after the 4th pick.
Already.
I think we know who Deacon wants to get as Spurs GM.
I know who I would get.
There's 2 guys that really there's 3 that I think could be here. Is Stephon Castle, Cody Williams, and Devin Carter. I know he's not as high as Devin Carter as I am. But
those.
So I don't know how
5
legit. So oh my gosh, Stephon Castle. And here's
I hate you.
I know
That
you
is
hate
the
me.
worst pick you could have ever done.
I don't think ever. Look, we need
Let's hear him
the
out.
Spurs really need perimeter defense, and Stephon Castle I think is the best guy at perimeter defense in this class. His shooting's not quite there, but he can attack off the dribble. He has nice touch around the basket. He's a good free throw shooter. If there's any organization that could fix someone's jump shot, I think it's the San Antonio Spurs. They did it with Kawhi, Tony Parker, all these guys. And if you also, next to Rob Dillingham, you want as much defense as possible, and Stephon Castle can be that guy. I don't think you necessarily start him right away, but
So the concerns. I mean, if we're on defense, 100%. Another thing the Spurs in their need on their bucket list, whatever on their list is 3-point shooting. Right? If you have around Victor Wembanyama, if you have 4 guys that can shoot the 3 ball,
well, that's
excellent. The problem is that now they have Sohan already. He's not a reliable shooter. Drafting Castle would pretty much just be getting a second shot at a Sohan. And just banking on developing a 3-point shot is just a gigantic thing. It's just that's the fact of the matter. It's not just an easy. Oh well,
that's what the draft is all about.
We'll do the 3, and so especially
Valid.
like you said, if Devin Carter is on the board, why would you not get Devin Carter? And not to mention, another concern about Castle, a huge concern, considering we probably draft Dillingham or Topic or some point guard, is he apparently his campus come out and said he wanted to be a true point guard.
Yeah,
he will not get that role. And so Devin Carter is the perfect fit. He's an extremely high 3-point, catch and shoot off the dribble from deep. He's an awesome, just energizer, role player. He can space the floor. He's also got great touch around the rim. Also a great defender on the perimeter. If he's going to be better than Castle, it's yet to be seen. I believe he's smaller, got a little bit of a smaller frame, so Jazz just automatically not as awesome. But he just fits the bill. And also, he looks to have a higher ceiling, just because a lot of or not just a higher ceiling, but a safer ceiling that is very similar to the height of Castle, because Castle still needs a lot more working. So I think Carter's just a much easier, much better pick.
I also like Cody Williams actually a lot.
He was the other guy.
Cody Williams, interesting,
He
catch and shoot.
got length to him. His defense is also pretty good. He can drive. He's really got everything in the bag. I think the shooting is a very big part of him. 42%.
He's 98th percentile in college of catch and shoot, which again fits that bill. He's super raw in just about everything, including defense, but he's shown flashes, so he could be interesting. I don't know if I like him better than Castle. Interesting. Ron Holland, another guy to throw out there, but 3-point shooting again is an issue. He's similar to Castle if you pick him. So anyway, that brings us to Memphis at number 9.
Donovan Clingan.
That's the most
I think if
If he's
he's
still
out,
left, yeah.
if he's out, I think that should be a very easy pick for them.
Steven Adams
You lost
replacement.
Steven Adams. I would not want to play Jaren at starting center. I don't want to play Clark at starting center. And I think Donovan Clingan is like the perfect guy to replace Steven Adams with. So I think it's honestly a pretty easy pick if he's still out for them.
And man, do they need height. That's really big issue.
More height and
Grant
rebounding.
Clark is starting right now at
Yeah.
6'8". It's a really
No,
big issue.
Jaren Jackson's a starting center, but he doesn't get rebounds.
He
He
he's
doesn't
not a
get
true
rebounds
center.
like that.
He cannot.
Yeah, he's not a true center. Donovan Clingan, I think, is also.
I mean, that's the best case scenario for the Grizzlies. I mean,
Yeah.
I think a lot of people were like, oh, hopefully they jump up so they could, like jump up in the lottery so they can get Donovan Clingan. But if he just falls to 9,
Which could definitely happen.
Interesting point. I don't think it's like bad. Klingon is awesome to get. Another interesting guy, especially Klingon would be picked here, just Khalil Ware. I know this is way higher than he's projected on a lot of boards. Well, I mean it's a draft. I think Khalil Ware would be awesome.
Yeah.
And to be quite frankly with you, I'm gonna say it right here, right now. I don't doubt at all that he'll be a better NBA player than Donovan Clingan. I don't think that's crazy at all. Because he's literally Derek Lively with a 3-point shot. Are you watching Derek Lively right now in the playoffs? Did you watch his rookie year? Have you seen that he does not have a jump shot? Or even like really paint moves for the most part? And imagine
He
he
can
has
dunk.
that. Khalil Ware has that. He has post moves and a 40% 3-point shot.
I mean, I think he could
He'd be a perfect
legitimately
fit.
be a Miles Turner type. And we have seen
An athletic Miles
just
Turner.
really good Miles
Hey.
Turner's been. Miles Turner's pretty good.
Yeah, but he's not like bouncy.
Yeah.
That's
But
what
he
I
can
mean,
dunk
like
it on
Derek Lively
Giannis.
is like bounce.
Yeah, but Miles Turner's a little bit bigger, which is good on defense.
Derek
than
Lively
Ware.
also, I think, defensively, or not Derek Lively,
Khalil Ware.
Khalil Ware. Defensively, he's a little like I don't know how
Yeah.
to explain it.
No, like more timid kind
Yeah,
of.
more timid, but I think that just comes with youth.
Especially on the
Yeah.
Memphis Grizzlies, he'll learn how to not be
Yeah,
so
that's
timid.
true. They like
And-
to grind.
I just love him. For one, modern NBA, you get a 5 that can space.
Right.
With John
Yeah.
Morant, guy that's
I mean,
loves to attack.
That's like the best case scenario. You just get a ton of guys that could space the
Slice.
floor. I mean, well, like that's kind of what we see in OKC. That's why they like Shea
Yeah.
so much.
It's true.
Because Shea just has all the room in the world.
But like I
Well,
said
yeah.
too, I do like Clingan too, not because he can stretch the floor, obviously, but because he's just kind of, hey, I'm gonna get the rebounds, I'm gonna do everything in the paint. Y'all take care of everything else. But yeah, I think both picks could be fantastic.
Yeah, it was honestly, it's like the Grizzlies, they have these guys in workouts and stuff like that. They
Mhm.
kind of have talked with them, just kind of a feel it out from there. But I think to me, looking from the outside in, I would like they're both right there for me.
Yeah.
So I have the Utah Jazz, which is the
Okay.
next pick. Gosh, I mean, I think the Jazz can go a number of directions. I think I'm just going Cody Williams. I think he's the highest upside guy left. They need some more high upside guys. I really like the young core they're building. I mean, especially with all the draft picks they have. And just they don't quite have that like small forward yet that they really like. And I think Cody Williams could be that. And I think he could play right away. Just in spurts. You know, catch and shoot threes, attacking closeouts. He's a little loose with his handle, but that also just comes with youth. He's super skinny. But we see how Jada filled out. I'm not saying it's gonna be the same, but it could be the same. Same genes.
I actually love that pick. Just to back it up slightly, they were a top 10 offense in points per game,
Right.
being that young, and I mean that's why they surprised a lot of people. And they were a bottom 2 defense in opponent points per game, so they need a wing defender. Williams shows a lot of upside. They have a lot of guys. I think catch and shoot that'd be great.
And even if Cody Williams only ever amounts to like Jaden McDaniel, I mean that's actually pretty good. But
That's pretty damn good.
Only
like if he never like develops that handle, I still think he could be a Jaden McDaniels. You know, and that's just so valuable.
Yeah, for sure.
98th percentile catch and shoot is something that you can't wince away quite that easily.
Oh yeah. All right, who's the Bulls?
Chicago
have-
Bulls at 11.
Bulls. The Bears.
I really don't know what the Bulls necessarily. They kind of need guards. And I'm actually gonna go with Devin Carter.
Okay.
I think
Nice.
he's a great pickup for them. Brings shooting. Mainly their only shooter right now, or at least from the 3-point side, is Desumnu, and he doesn't get the most amount of minutes, or he gets a good amount of minutes. But
He definitely gets minutes.
Sometimes
Now.
I think near the end. I mean, at the second half of the year, he started.
I don't know. How I
but
feel
they
about
don't
that.
need big because they're transitioning into Andre Drummond. They have Patrick Williams at the power forward position, Javante Green.
Looks like they're going to keep tomorrow. I mean, look, at the end of the day, if you get Devin Carter, I'm going to say you're a winner, just because Devin Carter's a really good player. And I don't know if Alex Caruso's going to be on the team long term, past this year. And like they need shooting. They were a terrible shooting team. You could always use more perimeter defense. And Devin Carter plays a lot bigger than he is. He averaged 8 rebounds a game.
Yeah, well, wasn't it even 8.7?
It might have been. It
I
might have
think
been
so. It's almost
higher.
9 rebounds. Yeah.
So what are your
But-
concerns? Yeah.
So, first off, Lonzo's coming back, and as of right now, they have no intention to lose Caruso, so that would make them get a fifth guard. Also, Drummond's a free agent, so he's not guaranteed to stay. So getting a big might actually not be a bad idea.
That's the only spot he's gonna sign because he knows he's guaranteed a starting spot.
But he's not.
I mean,
Not guaranteed a starting spot.
Yes.
How?
Who is their other center?
Nikola
Vucevic?
Vucevic, the man that has
I
like.
forgot the arrow.
All right. I mean, to answer your
Vucevic?
question, I love the pick. I have this pick on my board for them, so I love it. Because to me, they are in a weird situation. You don't know. Lonzo has 1 year left of his contract, and I think it's a player option. Yeah, you don't even know
I
if he's
agree,
coming
but they
back.
already have plenty of guards, and now they're just getting one back, and then you're going to draft a guard on
To an
top of that?
extent.
I think.
Let me answer that question.
Caruso's definitely trade candidate.
Caruso's a trade candidate. Lonzo Ball, his future is completely up in the air. Zach LaVine's future is
sure.
up in the air. So all of a sudden your guards dwindle. And for one, you want to get kind of the best down the board. We've talked about Devin Carter having that potential. And the question is, what do you want to do? Do you want to give they have to consider last 5 in points from 3-pointers, so they can use some shooting. Devin Carter brings that. Now, Zoe comes back. Do you want to replace him or give him some weapons? Devin Carter allows you both options. He allows you a 3-point threat, a defensive threat who next to Zoe, who's already great, or he allows you just to replace him, and you can move forward with Kobe White and Devin Carter.
Yeah.
So I think it's a great pick.
And they ran the 3-guard. I mean, Billy Donovan loves those 3-guard lineups. So
It's true. He did start with that in the plane, I think, right? Kobe, Dosunmu, and Caruso.
I mean, the second half of the year, really.
All right, Oklahoma City Thunder at number 12.
Wow. They could go a number of directions. Obviously, they need size. I don't know if they. I mean, they could address that elsewhere, like in free agency or trade.
Yeah. Which we've talked about before. If you guys want to check out the Thunder episode.
Yeah. So I'm gonna go with another need. This might be a reach. I'm taking Jared McCain. He just, his aura fits the Thunder organization with the youth and whatnot.
Well, he's not.
They definitely need knockdown shooters. Jared McCain. They definitely need knockdown shooters. As we saw in the playoffs. I mean, they just need guys that are willing to take contested 3. I think.
Or just get this a shot.
Would he be on the court enough with his defensive capabilities,
I
considering the Thunder's identity?
He tries hard on defense. He's not always the best.
So you're banking on developing that kind of a thing.
Absolutely.
Which they have
Isaiah
the
Joe, when he
Yeah.
got here, was terrible. And now he's like a really good defensive player. I mean, he's good.
I mean, you can't really say he was terrible just because he
Yeah,
only got like
sure.
3 minutes.
But like
But-
he was thought to not be great.
He was just a question.
A lot of
mark.
people thought about him. He was almost out of the NBA.
Yeah.
I mean, and
So-
now he's starting.
Now he's a key role player on the
um,
potential contending team next season.
In front of the pod.
Yes.
Obviously.
I mean, like you said, I think OKC can hardly go wrong with this pick as long as they kind of try to address something. Personally, I would much rather go the route as you mentioned, of getting a center, especially with guys like Ware or Holmes still out. I love both those guys. Filipowski would be interesting. Could be interesting fit. I don't know if I like him as much on OKC. But Ware and Holmes, I think would be awesome.
I think OKC is absolutely a trade down candidate to get Ware or Duran. Holmes.
Yeah, I would not be opposed to that at all.
I mean, I really like both.
Yeah.
Duran Holmes kind of
I love
like
Holmes.
a lengthy Al Horford.
A lot of 3-point
Yeah.
shot potential
I
there
love-
to keep
I
you
love
guys
him.
spacing the floor
Absolutely.
still. I would
And
love
he can
that.
play a little bit of the 4 too. He can play alongside Chet.
Yeah, that would be great.
Well, he could even be the 5 and have Chet be the 4. I mean, I think either
I
way,
mean, he could both be on.
alongside Chet,
Yeah.
like you had said at the end. Yeah.
I mean, yeah, I would do that, but no hate with the pick.